a long time ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you just know me from being in the community.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to let that go. The Bible say when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, but when I came a man, I put away childish things.
Absolutely.
So this is a man thing right now.
Yeah.
I try not to think about those things, because when you start thinking about those things, you know, sometimes you conjure up that behavior and that spirit, you know what I'm saying? So I try to keep myself grounded, but you know, I had that life, you know, I made it through it.
Yes,
you
sir.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
The
sir.
ups and downs, the
That's
bumps and the
it.
bruises.
That's
You know,
it.
I got some
That's it.
scars to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Paint, the one thing that's interesting to me is I'm a North Chicago guy, but I don't know North Chicago beyond 2003. That's the 2003, 2002. Kind of paint the picture of what it was like in the city, the youth center, the high school, the MJP, paint a picture for me and the audience if you could.
Oh, if I would like to paint a picture for you, just imagine a caterpillar. It moves slow. But as it moves slow, you know, sometimes people step on the caterpillar because it looks ugly and things like that. But the caterpillar got a purpose.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the caterpillar is to get to the cocoon to become a butterfly.
Yes, sir.
So in the process of him trying to get to his destination, you have these hindrances, you have these stumbling blocks. And that's how North Chicago was when we was growing up. We was all little caterpillars and we was moving around. Beautiful. The youth center parties with the X back then. We had a ball.
Yes, sir.
Flag football on every Sunday. We played football, and the Novak King, Youth Center, Neil. You know, we had the basketball. The gyms was open. We always had something to do.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly how old I was, but we all, even in the midst of the rivalry between North Chicago and Waukegan, we was all going out to Fort Sheridan. We had camp there. All through the summer. We didn't have to pay nothing. Everything was free. The bus picked us up and took us out to the Fort Sheridan. Shout out to Miss Gray. In the Marion Jones Projects, we had the center. The parties on Friday nights. I tell you about them parties,
Yes,
man.
sir.
But you know, I don't want to too much talk about that. You know? But we partied. We had a good time.
Yes, sir.
You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
sir. So it was hubs. It was different hubs. And for different walks of life. You know, church level. So talk to me about the contrast of today. When you look at North Chicago today, and you can compare it to that, and there's maybe some good things, bad things, or whatever. But when you think about North Chicago today, what do you think about?
The North Chicago today is desolate. It's empty. There's nothing for the kids. You know, I'm a kid at heart, you know, so I like to enjoy myself. That's why I like what you do, Carlos. You know, you do a great job. Shout out to the boy Lokes.
You know, I rarely get a shout out. So
yeah, I'm shouting out to you. You know, you've been doing the good since I met you, Carlos.
Yes, sir.
I'm proud
Yes,
of
sir.
you. Nothing is going on in North Chicago. It's dead. Nothing for the youth. And that's why I'm here, speaking to the youth for the future. That's why I am here, to give the youth something to do. This time of our life where we're at right now, when you talk about North Chicago, what do you see? Crime, chaos, and mayhem. Back when we was growing up, we had a little fights, but we respected the elders. The youth center was open for us. The kids are not, there's nothing for the kids. The youth center is closed down. The kids come in there, and like when we was growing up, if we did had a fight in the youth center, it was respected as a fight. You get out there.
Sure.
But in today's society, we don't have those parents that discipline those kids. And, you know, in today's society, you know, the kids are a little bit off the chain.
Yeah.
You know,
They'll try you.
I hope they don't.
They bet not. They bet not. But how do you, if you become the mayor of North Chicago, how do you immediately change some of those things? Because a lot of people say, well, Foss Park is a separate municipality. The mayor can't really tell what the commissioners what to do as far as the youth or the high school is separate. How do you manage that as the mayor if you became the mayor?
By being a leader. A leader brings people together. A leader lets other leaders become leaders. The problem with the Forest Park right about now is the mayor will not speak on that because he does not have a passion for the next generation. See, a leader must have a vision, and the vision starts with the future. The past is the past, but then it's the present, and then it's the future. So we talked about that caterpillar getting into that cocoon. It has to become a butterfly, but it has to be protected. So as me becoming the mayor, the youth center would be the hub. That's what we did. When we skipped school, we went to the youth center.
Yeah.
They didn't put us out. We went to the youth center. At 3 o'clock, we went back to the school. It was a place of unity. What I would do as a leader, as the next mayor of North Chicago, I would implement policies that the youth center have to open it up to the kids. For example, people don't know that we lost a TIF on 16th Street.
Okay.
We lost a TIF. A TIF is a tax increment finance.
Right.
So we lost that. So that money that was going to that TIF now goes back to the school district, to the park district, and to the city. So when that money comes back, you should not charge those kids that wants to be in the flames. Why? Because you now got that TIF back. Set that off to the side to help fund the program. Stop charging these kids so much when you know the dynamics of our community.
Yeah.
As a mayor, that's what I would talk to them. And due to me being from North Chicago, I think I have a relationship with everyone on that board, that they understand that I'm concerned about the future.
Yeah.
So I believe that would be a great thing. For me being the mayor of North Chicago, I am an example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That sounded good. I didn't know that, though, the TIF. I didn't know that thing. So we educating y'all up on this live, y'all, so make sure y'all tuning in. We got a couple comments. A lot of people checking in. Make sure y'all share the video. If you live with us now, hit the share button for us. Hit the like button for us. Hit the heart button for us. The next 10 seconds. For the next 10 seconds, hit the heart button for us. We live again. David Hood is in the building. We talked about Foss Park, but talk to me about, I remember when I was in grade school, it was a program called YEP. And YEP was a program that helped kids do music, record, and all type of stuff. It was at the Daisy Resource Center. But the cool thing about it was city funded. It was a city grant that make this program happen. How would you connect the city directly to youth? Because people say, well, the city don't do nothing for the kids. What ideas do you have to connect that?
Well, just like you said, the city had funds for the youth. When I was growing up, I worked at Abbott's. I worked at the VA in the lunchroom. I worked at the Great Lakes Naval Base. I worked at Baxter's. The city had a connection to these outside entities that was helping the kids to grow.
Yeah.
See, I always worked. No matter what I did in the past, I always knew how to get a job. When you said about the YEP program, I went through a program similar to that, but it was called PIC.
Okay, I heard about PIC. Yeah.
And PIC taught me how to sit down and do an interview, do a resume, and talk. I'll never forget the man's name. His name was Mr. McShann. Never forget him. And at that time, we was, different opposition, different gangs was at this program. So with the city receiving tax dollars from the people, set it off for the kids. In today's, I have to relax because I think about how I was raised in North Chicago. North Chicago is home. I love North Chicago.
Yes, sir.
You're bringing people into North Chicago, telling them North Chicago is good, North Chicago is great. But what about the kids now? Do the kids still feel the same way? You're not feeding them. It's almost like you're taking care of everybody else, but you're not taking care of home.
Yeah.
So take care of home. The mayor just recently got a few police officers on the new force.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was a great thing. But are they going to teach them new police how to deal with the demographics of our community? These are things that we need. You'll pay them all this salary, but what about the kids? See, I'm about the future because I was one of them kids that you said would never become nothing. I don't like to pat myself on the back, but I look like a pretty little butterfly. Don't I look like a pretty little butterfly? I know that was the caterpillar they talked about, Carlos. And I see some of them kids the exact same way.
Yeah.
That's over there in Brookhaven and what we used to call Rolling Green. Those kids is me. But just give them the chance. Open it up to them.
Yeah.
You got the funding.
Yeah.
You have it.
You spoke about public safety with the police officers, new police officers coming in. How do you approach that in North Chicago? Public safety, police officers, violence, gun violence. What's some of your ideas on that?
You know, I think the community need to get more involved when it comes to that. And I'll say myself personally, when each new police officer during the early part of 2000, when they came in, I met each police officer.
Okay.
I let them know who I am, the dynamics of this community, and I felt their spirit to see if they're going to be a great police officer for our community. Many of the great police officers have left our community. That's why we keep having to get new police, because they're leaving because of the demographics and the way the police are.
Yeah.
What I would do is you have to set policies for them. You have to make them follow these policies. I like the police. I never had a problem with the police. They're here to serve a job. But you're not here to be disrespectful and rude to the people in your community. I always tell people this right here. The people of North Chicago pay their police's salary.
Yeah.
That police works for you.
Yeah.
If that police is not doing what he's supposed to do, he got a boss, which is the mayor. I hold him accountable to his actions as the mayor. That I will guarantee.
Yes, sir.
Because I wanted to be a police. I know their job is dangerous.
Yeah.
But you chose that job.
Yeah.
So I live in this community. I expect for you to treat the people with respect the same way you would treat your people in your community.
Yeah.
So that would be a policy put in there. There's more other things that I will implement as I become the mayor.
Yeah.
Don't want to put too much out there.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I would like to put some things out there, but as of this time,
how would you deal? Because I know you. I know your approach. I know how you will tackle certain things. But politics is a whole different animal of a thing. How do you navigate the politics?
You know, I was working at a job one time and got into a little situation, political. And the gentleman said, "Do you know how you survive in the water with sharks?" He said, "You swim under their belly." See, politics is just like that shark.
Yeah.
It only smells the blood. But if you get close enough to it, you can survive. Everything is not politics. People say it's politics because they don't want to do their job. Those police have a contract. They have a union contract. When they come in here, every so often, that contract is going before the city.
Yeah.
When that contract comes through, you implement things in that contract that you have to follow. You must follow them. If you don't follow them, you got no contract.
Yeah. How do we talk about the Navy base and the relationship between the Navy and it's different organizations in the city. Aviv, that's not an organ, that's a business, but Aviv, the Navy base. How do you build a stronger connection with these companies to bring them more into the community in North Chicago? Because they're right there.
I think, and I believe, this is what I believe. As I become the next mayor of North Chicago, these entities will come to North Chicago. I believe that at this point in time, there has to be some type of friction between those entities and our leadership. I'll say this and to the people in North Chicago, listen. The Great Lakes Naval Base have an admiral coming in.
Okay.
And the admiral stays here every 3 years. And then there's another one come. And then he leaves again. Well, if the mayor has been the alderman for 12 years,
right,
and the mayor for 19 years, that's 31 years.
Right.
Politics.
Yeah.
That's 31 years. And you mean to tell me in 19 years that you have not got any relationship with one admiral? Me and you have been knowing each other for a pretty good time.
Absolutely.
And all you know is me and the community.
Yeah.
This is what you know.
Yeah.
So when the next person you talk to, you say, "No, this is all I know about hood." So when the next admiral comes in, what is he saying about the leadership? Then the next admiral come in. If you have no connection, it's not the people. It's not the people. When I come in here and I see your leadership and I see your team here, excellent.
Yeah.
It's because of your leadership. It's because of your efficient. Our leadership is lacking. So they need a strong, they need new, innovative for the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what the kids need. They need to see an example. They don't need to see what we keep on saying. Politics, politics. No, I'm not a politician.
Yeah.
I'm a public servant.
Gotcha.
That is my job. I serve. I got awards for being a servant. I'm a natural born servant.
Yes, sir.
And I serve the people. That's my job.
Absolutely. Speaking of serving, I'm gonna go to my commercial right now because this brother been serving too. He is. This is not a endorsement. This is a paid ad from Keith Turner. He's running for mayor in Waukegan. Here's his message. Check him out.
It's Keith Turner, 6th Ward, right here in the 9th Ward over at Carmen's Pancake House. Wanted to take a few moments to remind you about the upcoming mayoral election on April 1st, with early voting and mail-in voting starting on March 7th. I'm the change agent that Waukegan so desperately needs, and I'd be honored to have your vote. Keith Turner, your independent mayor. Website is votekturner.com. Thank you.
Again, that is not an endorsement. That is a paid ad, ladies and gentlemen. We do not endorse nobody up here, but we do give everybody the opportunity to come and speak. And Keith Turner ran a commercial with us, just like he would run with Comcast or whoever else, because that's what we're doing up here. We up there on that level too. But back to the conversation with Mr. Hood. You spoke about the mayor, the current mayor now that's in the office. He's been there for a while, definitely. What is some of the things that you would have liked him to do differently in his years of you watching? You've been close,
Yes,
very close
very
watching.
close.
What's some things that you would say, I didn't like that, I like this, you could have did this?
Well, I have said those things to him.
Okay.
It didn't go too good. The mayor needs to be more concerned about the people within his community and not the people from outside of the community. When I first walked with the mayor, he was beginning 2005. 2005. That's when I started working with him. I was campaigning for Rita Mayfield. So I met him then, and I said, so how do I get involved in this? And he said, you have to be a people person. You have to know the community. You have to be a service to the community. So coming from a leader telling me that I have to be a servant and know the people in the community, as you walk with him, then you see that he's not a servant to the people in your community, but having ears to outside people. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if you look at North Chicago, what's in North Chicago? As a mayor, my nephew, I shout out to my family, shout out to my family. In 2008, they took down all the basketball courts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember that?
I remember, it's my senior year.
Yeah. But you see North Chicago basketball team?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the kids can't go nowhere really to have a good time and practice their skills unless they're in the school. So when he took down those basketball courts, and we went to him about that, they never came up. You say it's because it's crime or because someone's fighting. Well, still crime and fighting. On that note, he does not always seem to tell the truth. He talked about the spot shooters and the license plates and all that. But just recently, Friday, they had a shooting on 13th and Jackson. They said 30 shots rang out.
Yeah.
You got a license plates? You got a spot shotter? How? That's 13th and Jackson. That's right in the middle of the town. So where is it at? That's politics. Politics, tell you a joke. What's the difference between a politician and a snail?
I don't know.
One of them is a snail, the other one is slimy.
It's cold-blooded. That's cold-blooded. Well, what do you say? What do you say to the person that says, "Well, you're about to be in that group with the slimy people"? How do you remain unslimy? How do you remain untouched?
I'll go biblical.
Okay.
Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego was in the flame, and they said there was a fourth one in there. They said, "Who is that?" That's the Son of Man. God protects those that believe in Him.
Yeah.
You can go in there, but you don't have to be tainted by that in there. That's what my mom taught me. You can be around them, but you don't have to act like them.
Yeah.
And that's the dynamics of our town. Our narrative of a town is that we're radical or uneducated or unlearned. But there needs to be another narrative.
Yeah.
And by me being the mayor, I bring a different narrative. I'm among you, but I'm not from you. We here,
Yeah.
but I think different.
Yeah.
It's a different perspective. You don't have to be like them. That's what happens. You tend to fall into that same old routine. And that's what happened in North Chicago. Like I said, I walk with the mayor.
Tough question for you. My philosophy on politicians, because some people say, well, I'm not a politician, I'm a servant, which is a word you used. I never wanted to run for nothing in my life.
I know, we talked about that many times.
Absolutely. Because I know, straight up and down, if somebody offered me a bid and say, Los, man, we got this kickback, man, it's 100,000, we're going to give you 40 bands.
You're going to turn your head.
No, I'm be like, what's up with that 40 bands? You know what I'm saying? And at that age, because I know I didn't have $40,000.
That's right.
How do you navigate a space where you're being tempted financially? All of these things are happening. To your point about the Abednego story in the Bible, would you apply that to that as well? Because finances are a huge thing in the world, and politicians are tempted a lot with finances. How do you navigate that and be like, yo, chill, you know what I mean? Because I know some stories out there.
The love of money is the root to all evil. I'm not hurting. I'm not hurting. It's not about the money. My past, we done had some money.
Yes, sir.
I done blowed some money. I done went through some money. I done gave away some money. And one thing that I've learned that when you got money, people love you.
Yeah.
But when you ain't got no money, they turn their backs on you. So when you grew up like I've grown up, you start understanding that it's not the material things. It's the friendship and the love that you have with one another.
Yes, sir.
No, my mom taught me, and my dad was a stricter on stealing and lying.
That's big.
We don't steal, we kill.
Yeah.
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 We don't lie.
Yeah. Yeah. When North Chicago has a barren land on Sheridan Road that is a hot topic of conversation via some new money just came in, $5 million to develop Sheridan Road. Talk to me about what is without giving away a lot of your ideas, because that's a popular thing to talk about for everybody that's running. What ideas do you have to get that spot?
What is wrong with Sheridan Road right now? What's wrong with the land?
Chemical land or something chemical.
Is it chemical land?
Yeah.
It's chemical, so they have to go down there and make sure that the land is...
Right, from what I understand.
I don't think that's true, Carlos. I really don't. But if you got $5 million coming in, like I said from the beginning, and I'll give you this, I'll give this to you. It's going to come in the next 3 years. So why don't you prepare these children for what's getting ready to come? Why don't you put in a trade school? You got youth bill, but youth bill only give you a certificate. They don't put you on those sites. Why don't we prepare this next generation for what's getting ready to come? That's $5 million that's getting ready to leave our community. $5 million. You don't think little Johnny or little can use a few $100s? Oh, they're not qualified. That's why you put them in apprenticeship. Right now in Waukegan High School, I know a man. Apprenticeships are coming to that school telling kids right now at juniors and senior year that apprenticeship is taking 3 to 4 years before you can get on that job site.
Yeah.
And they're paying you to go through this. Why isn't North Chicago doing it? If this company is coming in and you're coming into the community,
Yeah.
you talked about that $1,000, $100,000 that they wanted to give you, why couldn't you just put that $100,000 into apprenticeship and get about 15 or 20 of them kids and run them through this apprenticeship for these next 3 years? So when that developer hit this ground, you're already prepared for this. You're ready for this. See, you need to work within your community. Now, when the companies come in, you know, they say, well, you have to have 10% blacks or minorities or whatever.
Yeah.
But they bring their own.
Yeah.
Why don't you have it in their contract that you have to have them from North Chicago?
Gotcha.
So when we talk about the mayor, and you're supposed to be a mayor for your city, and you have all these developments coming in, why haven't you never done this? That's your leadership. Now your leadership is for the outside, not for the inside, because everybody's coming from the outside.
Yeah.
There's no one growed up that you can turn around and say, hey, I did this for him.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
You talk about the taxes being just periodically raising. A lot of people give you different reasons on why taxes are raised in different situations. I had the privilege of reading something prior to our interview, which kind of showed an increase over time, over years, in a certain tax base. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
We have nothing coming in. We have no hub within the community. Only taxes that we have is taxes from the house or from the water. That's it. We don't have no real businesses, homegrown businesses. Yeah, Dollar General came up, Starbucks came up, but you don't own Starbucks. That person doesn't live in your community.
Right.
Those taxes that he's getting, yeah, you get a few come to you, but that money that he's getting every month and every week, that's going somewhere else. That's not coming here. When we had jewels back in the day, it was set in the community. People bought from there. People worked there.
Yeah.
I know several people that has retired from jewels, from starting from right there.
Wow.
So we have to do it from within inside, and that's why the taxes are the way they are. Now, I know they say that the taxes just went down 5%, but as you looked at that information, we done already went up in the last 4 years, almost 45%.
Yeah.
So if it's already at 45 and you turn it down 5%, that's still 40%. It's still gonna go back up.
Yeah.
So you have to start from within. You have to get our young people to get a job within our community. Abbott's, Naval Base, the VA, we have to. I know people say, well, you gotta be a veteran and do all this. No, I worked in the kitchen. I worked there. There was a daycare there, and I served the kids food.
Yeah.
So why do we have to keep trying to invent the wheel? Why don't we clean the wheel up and make it run better? Why don't we do that?
Just to speak, I think I've never really realized that the connection between the schools should have a direct line to these big municipalities, big businesses in the city.
Yeah.
And if they do, I don't know of them directly. I know we have great connections with a school with CLC, but I don't know necessarily if it's being directly at Abbey or at the VA or at these big companies. You're right. That's something I never really thought about.
Carlos, my background, I worked for the Urban League in Wisconsin. I worked Urban League, gang prevention. And I would get on the phone. Now, this is just the Urban League. Now, we don't have an Urban League here.
Right.
In an urban community.
Right.
Because it's funded politically. At that Urban League, I would get on the phone and call different places and get kids jobs. This is what I did. I'm not telling you what somebody else telling me. This is what I've done. So this is what we need to do. You need to bring someone in that have these skills to be able to communicate to these outside entities for our children. Speak on our children. You need someone at the table that speaks for you, not someone that does not speak for you. So I don't believe in from the actions. They say you judge them by their fruits. I don't see no fruit from this current mayor. To this current mayor, you know, I'm speaking directly to him.
Yes, sir.
Kukla has Kukla Tower. Thompson has Thompson Manor. You've been here 20 years. What do you have? Audrey Nixon got Audrey Nixon Boulevard. What do you have? You have nothing. So tell me about your fruits. Tell me about what you're really doing for the people or what you're doing for yourself. And that's where we're at right now. This is why we definitely need this change. Because our people need to thrive. They need to survive. They need to have the same love and affection that all other communities. You hear a lot of activists complain about when something happened in another community, how they fund that community and they take care of that community. But then when something happened into our community, no one comes to our aid. No one's going to come to our aid until we take care of ourselves, until we come together. So that's why I'm running for the mayor of North Chicago also, to bring the unity together, let them know that we're in this together. You're not alone. I stand with you. And as the mayor, I will continue to stand with you. I'm not going to leave from where I'm at. I'm going to be right there.
How do you change I know even at the high school, a lot of parents will say, I'm not sending my kid to North Chicago because of this. And there's a reputation issue. Even though the current status of it is better than it's probably ever been in the last 20 years, how do you help change the reputation of North Chicago to businesses, to residents, to get those parents, to get those adults who work in the school district to move to North Chicago, work at Abbey, to move to North Chicago? Because I knew that was a plan with the new development, but how do you get them to do that?
People have to feel safe. When these teachers leave our school, they jump in their car and they gone. They just don't feel safe. Or do they just come in here to get a paycheck? That's the question that you have to ask. We have now 3 people that's going to be on the board. And I believe that's how that board is going to change. Because that's the dynamics. The shift is coming. People must grab and see that the change is here. Now you have to change. All you have to do is get up and go to that poll between now and April 1st and vote. Vote David Hood. I represent the neighborhood. I am you. You are me. I believe in our generation. You get up and check that vote. That's the first change we have to do. We can't sit idle and say nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change if you don't change. You have to do something. You have to make the first step. And that first step is change the leadership. If you do not change the leadership, it's going to stay the same. The school district is pretty much like the leadership. It's stagnated. You know, they did a nice job on Neil. They did a nice job on the outside. But did they change the mindset of the people that was coming into the school? Now, that's part of the school responsibility to educate us on every level. When we was going to school, we had Mr. Clark, Mr. Moore, Mr. Whitaker. You know, we had minority male teachers. The demographics has changed, and you have different races of teachers, and they're male. And we have young black men in our community. So we must get males to become teachers in our community. That this whole dynamic is changing, and I believe it's changing for the better. You know, in the midst of darkness, there is light. And we are the light, Carlos. You are the light.
Yes, sir.
I am the light.
Yes, sir.
These things that we're doing is showing the people that we can do it. Given the opportunity, we can do it. These kids need the opportunity. And it starts with education. We know education is a big part. It starts with education.
You now have the opportunity to talk to a voter, because we know Rockingham has been a mayor since 2005. It's 2019, 20 years. Some people are just stuck in that path of what they want to do. I shouldn't use the word stuck. They're just in the path of what they normally would do. And maybe that voter's on the fence. What do you say to those voters?
If you want to see change, put me in again. Put me in the game. When I win, we win. And go tell a friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
I appreciate you coming through, man. I knew we was going to have a good conversation. Like I said, we've even in, like I said, in passing, we always, we chop it up and have a good conversation.
I've been knowing you for
Since I was a little guy.
Yeah. You know, I was out there on the bullhorn, you know, fighting for rights.
Yes, sir.
The same thing.
Yes,
and I
sir.
say, where was many of these candidates? You know, I don't pat myself on the back. I just do it.
Yeah.
Because I am a public servant.
Yeah.
Now, as that position, becoming a politician, you know, you may say he's a politician. No, I'm a public servant.
Yeah.
You can call it what you want to, but I'm still serving my people.
Yeah.
Now, a politician really doesn't serve the people. He's a government. He just does this. But we have to take care of our people.
Yeah.
And if the people want to be taken care of, you must get someone that wants to take care of you.
Yeah.
Now, the older generation is the ones that we must find in safety for them. That's why I believe in public safety.
Yeah.
Older people don't feel safe. So we have to change the narrative. And if you want your kid to have a good future and a better future, look at me. You heard about my past, but look at my present. I'm here, and I'm not going nowhere. Let's make a change.
Yes, sir.
Put me in the game.
Yes, sir.
David Hood, and I represent the neighborhood.
Y'all heard what he said, ladies and gentlemen. David Hood representing the neighborhood. I appreciate him so much for coming through. But before I go, I got to show my commercial one more time. Again, shout out to Keith Turner running for mayor. This is not an endorsement. This is a paid ad. I want to thank Mr. Hood for coming through. As always, it's always a good conversation. I want to shout out to the Closet Space, the #1 place to get some gear from, 2700 Sheridan Road in Zion, Illinois. Yeah, they got the GOAT hoodies up there. If you feel like you a GOAT, you better go get you one of these hoodies. I appreciate y'all. David, you know what it is. I appreciate you, sir. And good luck on that
In
path.
that order, straight like that,
Yes, sir.
brother.
You know what it is. Y'all know what it is. The BoyLosCrazy. If you knew better, you'd do better.
Need 2 sweaters.
Need 2 sweaters. Y'all be good. We'll see y'all next time, y'all. Thanks.
Morning, folks. Keith Turner, 6th Ward, right here in the 9th Ward over at Carmen's Pancake House. Wanted to take a few moments to remind you about the upcoming mayoral election on April 1st, with early voting and mail-in voting starting on March 7th. I'm the change agent that Waukegan so desperately needs, and I'm honored to have your vote. Keith Turner, your independent for mayor. The website is votekturner.com. Thank you. Morning, folks.